pushing and pulling, it won't open, it's no good, and I'm wide awake now. I can't get no sleep.
The Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information, or follow the link in the description below.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, just checking the microphone. Oh, look at this. It even works. Look, my little nameplate and everything. Right, I'm going to have to pull the curtain back a little bit. This is a brand new, sort of freshly put together setup by me today. No help from anybody. I've pieced this all together to create a new overlay background. But it's not new to you guys, but for a separate show so that we have different things on it, which you'll see in a minute. I'm really proud of myself there. So I think we're live. I think we're on. So thank you to everyone for joining us. Look, this is the first of a new series. Shout out to Will Sockett, who suggested this to discuss controversial topics for Sheffield United over like the international break where we'd normally have a bit of a lull. So these are the subjects, and we're going to cover them on topics that Sheffield United fans are faced with. But, you know, it's a difficult one to talk about or face up to. I want to get it out there straight away. This is by no means intended to incite people or get people wound up. Or it's purely the more pointed topics that we don't often talk about because, you know, tonight's debut show, if you like, is Sheffield United will get relegated. And what we're going to do is we're going to have two Platinum Ramblers come on and say, yes, they think we might get relegated. And two, come on and argue and say, no, we're not. We're going to stay up. We're going to be good enough to stay up this season. Because that, I feel, no matter how big or small a representative, there are people in the fan base that think either side of the argument. And that is what we want to discuss. It's things like, should we sell Gus Hamer? Some people will say yes. Some people will say no. You saw that last night. On 3 Mardy Blades, Man Mountain was, if the right offer comes in for Gus Hamer, we should sell him. Dave the Nose was saying we can't replace him, so why would we sell him mid-season? There's all sorts of debate to go on around these topics. So we've never been a clickbaity channel or anything like that, but I do believe these subjects are worth talking about, and that's the reason I'm going to give it a go. And if it works, it works. Like we always do on the Ramble, we'll try stuff, throw stuff at the wall. If it sticks, if you guys like it, if I like it, then we'll run with it. If it doesn't work, then understandably so. So tonight, as I've said, we have got two Platinum Ramblers representing the We Will Stay Up. That is Jamie Dumpling and Mark Meldrew. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's Lewis Batman Walker and Russ Bradbury who are saying that we will stay up. And the ones that are saying we're in trouble will come as no surprise that Mark Meldrew is probably captain of that team. And Jamie Dumpling, who also believes we might struggle to survive because of the current run that we're on. So let's welcome him in now. Without any further ado, I've got to unmute him first. But welcome, gentlemen. How is it going?
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening. Good evening. I know I've set this up from scratch, but I wasn't quite at the point where I can bring you all in individually and give you your own intro. So I thought I could either bring you on and you sit there while I talk through your names, or I'll introduce you off screen and then bring you all on. So welcome, lads, to the first ever Touchy Subject. And as we've said, this is basically, do you think Sheffield United are going to stay up this season? Do you think we'll go down this season? Jamie Dumpling, I'm coming to you first, because I'm not convinced that you are a true, yes, we'll get relegated boy. I think you are maybe supporting your pal Mark Meldrew. Why do you think Sheffield United are going to go down this season?
It's for me at the minute, it's less based on what we're doing, because I think we are making the improvements we need. Like, we're starting to make better performances, pick up points here and there. But I think that the other teams around us even the ones you could say a few games ago, like Blackburn, they're starting to pick up points, but they're getting even better than us. Blackburn, I think they've won through on the bounce now. And it's worrying that potentially the teams that are around us were saying, oh, yeah, we could, they could get, go and replace where we are currently. Even Norwich, they're going to shoot off eventually. Even though we've got a better squad on paper, we've not improved as much as we'd want to by this stage of the season, especially since Wilder came back.
Russ, do you have a counter to that?
Well, I think everybody can agree that there is an improvement. Even the people that the naysayers are saying, yeah, we've seen an improvement, it's just not good enough.
Would you agree with that, naysayers?
I don't know. Just one second. I think that it's better to grow steadily than for us to have a couple of flash in the pan wins and performances and then dip badly again. Let's keep building it. I think we'll be all right.
Okay, I'm gonna be playing devil's advocate a lot in this, Russ. So what I would say to you is, we did have 2 wins and then we lost 3 on spin.
Yeah, but that's technicalities. That's just semantics, isn't it? Well,
Jamie, Mark, do you agree with Russ that things have improved under Wilder, just not quite to the levels we were hoping for, which is almost exactly what Russ said?
It couldn't really get much worse than what it were at, could it? To be honest.
Okay.
Performance-wise, clearly we have to a degree because we've picked up some results.
Yeah.
But I think I looked today, I think we've played 10 since he come back in. We've won 3, drawn 1, lost 6.
Okay.
We need more wins on board. It's as simple as that. We can't keep waiting. And I kind of get what Russ is saying, but I don't think we can wait and keep waiting for things to turn. All we keep hearing is things will turn, and it ain't turning.
Is it a genuine fear of yours, Mark, that we will get relegated this season?
100%, and I don't think. I think some of it comes down to we've spoke about this in pub quite a lot, sort of between myself and lads about. It really reminds me of sort of that season under Mickey Adams, where in January we tried to go absolutely mental and bring every Tom, Dick, and Harry in, and it just didn't gel. We had Andy Reid, you spoke about it today, Jimmy, in group. Brilliant player for United. I think he played about 6 or 7 games. If we'd have had him from beginning, we probably wouldn't have gone down. They were brilliant, but you're clinging on to bringing these players in. That it's going to be incredibly difficult. You've got to get them to gel. We don't seem to be getting team to gel currently, and they've had 10 games with manager. I am worried. I think it's a bigger worry than a lot of people think. Regardless of where we are, we're a third way through season. I think it's a big worry.
I've just put a poll up in the chat so people can declare where they are on this argument. I have to say it's very early in the season to be discussing this. Man Mountain almost went off the mountain yesterday in terms of why are we even talking about a relegation battle? There are 30 games to go before the end of or 31 games to go to the end of the season, whatever it is. I understand what he's saying with that. Again, playing devils and trying to sit in the middle and see both sides. The trajectory of points, we're going to get relegated if we carry on playing like we have. And you have to see signs of improvement, which we have. Like Russ says, I agree with you. I think we've improved. But is it enough of an improvement to claw us out of trouble? There's also January to come around the corner. So there are things that we can look at. I say around the corner, it's 2 months. It's over 6 weeks away, 7 weeks away. Can't wait. Just sit and wait for January. We have to do things with this current squad as it is. Lewis, what's your thoughts on the current matter? Founding member of the Positive Blades. So how are you feeling, pal?
I'm with Russ in terms of the view that it's a progression, and I'm also with Man Mountain in terms of I just feel it's too early to be predicting relegation. I think there's underlying data, because I've looked at it, to say that things have improved under Wilder. Average possession has gone up in games. We're 6th in the division for that. We're 10th in terms of XG. We are 2nd in terms of touches in the opposition box over the season.
Where are we in league, mate?
What's that, mate?
Where are we in the league?
Way down near the bottom, because we can't put the ball in the net, and that's the big issue. Now, that is But what this tells me, mate, is that it's not a systemic problem.
Okay.
It's something that we can coach into a specific unit of the team to create better chances, to convert chances. I don't think it's a systemic problem. Again, we rank first in terms of possession won in the final third as well in the entire division. So it shows we're doing the right things. It shows that we're progressing into the numbers tell you that. But the important number is putting the ball in the net, of course, and that's what we've got to work on. And Wilder talked about coaching scenarios into the players, going through it, getting some confidence back into them. I think on Saturday I saw some really positive things. Michael Cooper had his best game of the season. I thought Danny Ings was terrific. I think he's getting up to speed now and could be a leader to spearhead the attack. Gyro, I thought some people had mixed opinions. I thought he had a decent game. I thought there was some good touches from him, some good passes into the box. I thought he did all right. And I think we are coming along. Cal O'Hare, he's on for a 12-plus goal season. So there's lots of things that are improving, but it's been a process because he came in to an absolute mess in terms of fitness, in terms of confidence, total gear shift in terms of style again. It was always going to take time, but it's too early for me. It's too early in the season.
Cards on the table, and I've been open about this anyway. I don't feel we'll make the. I'm not saying you positive lads do think we'll make the playoffs. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near. I think we will pull ourselves away from relegation though. So I'm not quite on the yes we're going to go down train, but I do think my concern is that the bar is so low for the expectations and where the quality of this squad, and I think the fans have to recalibrate where they expect us to be and things like that. Where for the positive Blades, and I'll come back to you negative Nancy's in a minute. Russ, where do you think is the best case scenario that we can realistically finish this season?
5th, 6th.
Really?
And that's because, like Mountain said, like Lewis has just said, I think it's just too early. It's too early at the moment to write ourselves off. You know, the progression is there. The stats that Lewis has just read out, tell a good, strong story there. My eye test is I generally rely on that. And something I wanted to just say was that throughout my experience, going my first season ticket in 72, right? Yeah. And I've seen the up, down, up, down, up, down. And everybody's seen some form of that, apart from Jamie, of course.
Apart from Jamie, yeah.
I've seen
it doesn't feel it. It doesn't feel like a relegation team or situation. I'm not seeing a bad team. I'm not seeing bad players. And all I'm seeing is them getting more and more confident. And
see, I think this is really interesting, Russ, because Mark's disagreed already. He thinks it's the signs of the Mickey Adams era, which he lived through as well. Don't quite go as far back as you, so you've got more sort of Sheffield United history to go by.
Breath of despair.
Yes, exactly right. I also find it really interesting. I know you're on the same team tonight, lads, but Jamie has got a much smaller sample size than any of us, which it interests me more because I think the younger fans are more conditioned to being successful as a club, and historically we haven't always been that way. So when we start
in 72, Tony Curry at his peak, that's when I was totally grabbed.
Yeah.
Well, so I came in the equivalent of Wilder coming in.
Yeah.
In 2015, 16, where a lot of younger folk, they came in on the top. It's a tough old game, isn't it?
It is. But then it's a case. As soon as things start to go wrong, do the younger or newer fans then start to not panic essentially, but think, well, we're so not used to this feeling. We're used to winning.
I probably did back then, and probably on the next roller coaster ride after that, even.
And it's fine margins though, because I'm not saying Jamie should be, and I'll talk to you about it, Jamie, rather than talk around you while you sat here. But like, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You're not miles away from what I expect. I expected us to be at top end at league this year. It's not arrogance, or it's just an expectation of what you've seen in recent times, because
And the quality of the players.
the quality of the players, the squad that we've seen in terms of how they performed last season as well. We've only lost one or two big hitters.
We've got.
Yeah, exactly. I think
this club's, this is PTSD. The Sellers thing was such a shock. You got players that were demanding more training because they would feel that they were getting the conditioning they needed ready for the season. Things like that, and then if everything else that went on behind it, it's been a total wrecking ball. And I think we're doing all right.
Jamie, what's your main concerns at the moment regarding the squad and the form that we're in?
I think it's the confidence. I mean, you look at keep bringing up Coventry a lot because they're the standout example of a team that were struggling. They just sack the manager and they get someone new in that reinvigorates them and everything. They get them back going and they go on to the playoffs, which is an incredible achievement. But when because Statman Jack got it up earlier when I requested it on this day last year, so they hadn't even got Frank Lampard in. Coventry had already gotten 16 points. So I think they were Coventry on 16 points. I believe they were about 17th. They weren't 22nd, so there were whole area offers, and even they beat about 17th if they were in the league now. So it's drastically sort of different situations where we've gone from absolutely dire to okay, we're playing a bit better. So them being awful. They've got a decent amount of points. They're nowhere near where they wanted to be, and then they got back on track. But they've already had more time to work. I don't know how to word it, but they weren't as bad as us in the same kind of situation. But the play confidence, you saw immediately when Frank Lampard came in that them players just stopped playing for Mark Robins. The moment Lampard came in, boom, back on. When Wilder came in, even players who might have been up for it, they couldn't get going because there was the confidence that players. We had an awful transfer window. Cov didn't have a bad transfer window. It's very different type of situation, despite the fact that both teams have gone similar types of ways in the last 2 years, if you get me drift.
I agree with you to some degree. I think we're getting to the point where we're having to compare sensational seasons by other clubs, which are anomalies for the large part.
Forest
and Coventry are the examples that are coming up, and they're spoken about infrequently because it's so rarely done. There's not a great chance. It's not even a slight chance. It's a minute chance that Sheffield United will go on one of these runs, and that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're not talking about making the playoffs per se. It's will we get relegated? And Mark, what's your main concerns currently with this? Is it a case of the players that we've got currently aren't good enough? Do you feel like, or do you feel it's a confidence issue, like Jamie says? Do you think it's too long to hang your hopes on January and hope that we can sort of eke our way to January and then everything changes? What's your position on the squad at the minute, pal?
Well, like you've just said, it's numerous things. I think we're trying to cling on to get to January. That seems a big thing that they've clearly planned for it already. I mean, you just touched on there, like with Coventry. I had a look at this today, and I went right back to when they played us because I think Lampard took job game after, or maybe game after that.
Yeah.
I think they won 4 out of next 7 or 6. That they had that bounce, so to speak. While they came in, Charlton at home, pop, game done. That were it. We all thought it, me included. I thought he'll come back. I think a lot of it when I've watched us, and like I've had odd game where I've been at home and I've not been, and I think you look at our squad when it's wrote down on paper, and it ain't a good squad. I don't think. When you look at our starting 11, I don't think it's a great 11.
Do you think they outperformed themselves last season? Then?
To a degree, but then, like you've said before, Jim, I think the longer it goes, you think, well, it can't be a fluke to do what we did. We had players on form, aim at best player at division. Let's be right. This season, he's out injured currently. He hasn't been great. I think teams just target him, and it's almost like you stop him, you stop us. Him being outside actually meant O'Hare's coming and it's given him a bit of relief because he's sort of been main man that we've been sort of pinning his hat on. I mean, I looked today, I think we've scored 11 goals. I think 2 players have got 7 of them, and that Aware's got 4, Campbell's got 3. And we're moaning about Tyrese Campbell.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So I think there's a lot of it. There's a lot to be worried about. I mean, the other issue I've got with it is at what point do we, like Dave said yesterday, you're in it until you're not in it. Like, and we can talk about possession. You ask Wilder, would you rather have 80% possession every game, but only nick a point each
Or
time
20% and win,
and nick 3?
Yeah,
that's where I stand with it. To be fair, and that's no gripe at Lewis. I think he raises a good point, but
yeah,
I'm trying to think of it from a manager's point of view. I do think that is a big worry. We're not taking his chances. We're not clinical enough.
and you could also say having the most possession in the final third is great, but what are we doing with it then if we're so far down in goals scored and chances converted? So there's different ways of looking at it, but it's a positive stat that we're getting into those sort of positions, and it does lean into Lewis's points that we're not far away. I think in terms of it clicking. I'm going to ask a tricky question now, and it's probably one that we could do a whole touchy subject on altogether. But we'll start on the positives, and I think the negative lads might agree, but we'll have to wait and see. Chris Wilder, Lewis, is he a help or a hindrance to our current plight?
A help or a hindrance? In what respect? Is
any that you may deem appropriate, because there are different ways you can take that question, aren't there?
I think I would reference where we were before he came back in, and I think you would have to say he's a help. His experience alone, where we were with Ruben and the mess it was left in, very few managers would be able to come back in and pick up those pieces with the lack of fitness, the lack of confidence, the way that we were playing. And no one can tell me we haven't had an upturn in performances. I mean, even part of the data, just go with the eye test. And the number of goals scored, number of goals conceded. Now, it still has to improve, but it has improved with Gus being out with an injury now. We've had Blaster out forever. Hopefully, he's going to be back soon. Davis on and off with his fitness. Cooper's confidence shattered at the start of the season. Campbell's confidence shattered. So I think it's a difficult situation to come into. And for me, you would want an experienced operator, someone that's been there and done it before, someone that knows the club. I know these are all things that we all talk about. Some people like that kind of Mr. Sheffield United thing. Some people don't. But he's definitely more of a help than a hindrance. He's stubborn. He is stubborn. But as a manager, he needs to know his own mind as well. And if he was chopping and changing too much and not sticking to his principles enough, that would worry me more at this stage. You're then into third manager scenarios, and that's not where we want to be. Recipe for disaster.
Okay, let me slightly tweak it then. Are you in any way disappointed by his return?
I'm disappointed with the results for sure, but when I look at everything, at the data, at the eye test, at the feeling around the club, the lack of confidence in the players, I think there's a lot of mitigation there. A hell of a lot of mitigation.
I agree with that.
Recruitment was the biggest thing. Recruitment has killed him, absolutely killed him. So they took his job off him, ruined the squad, and then brought him back. And he's finding a way. And let's be right, there were no points on the board before Chris Wilder turned up. We've now got 10. So it's an upward trend. We need more. We need to get more out of the team. We're not there yet, but it is improving, and that's what we've got to cling to. It has improved, and it will keep improving.
Jamie Dumpling, is Chris Wilder a help or a hindrance to Sheffield United's current plight? And have you been disappointed in any way with his return?
I mean, for me, if there's anyone that's going to get us out of this situation, it is him. It's just a case of, does he have enough in him, especially after the whole disappointment of last season? And I do sort of want to go back to Mark's point previously about the whole possession thing. The best Wilder side in that overlapping centre halves, we'd never had the most possession. So for me, I'm never looking at the actual sort of possession kind of things with Wilder. That's sort of never really been his strong point.
Right, yeah.
But I think when you do look at the results in his track record, especially for picking up teams, it's sort of his first time round, he was not the greatest start, and then after 4 games, it was off. Second time round, he obviously would prem them and no saving that, and then boom, he were off. But this time, it's not been anywhere near as good. And I know you can say, yeah, the players haven't been great, but by his standards alone, it's been quite disappointing, which is a shame because you can see the improvements, but it's just a case of will it be enough?
I'd agree with that. Better doesn't mean good, does it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just worrying me that it may potentially not be enough. And with the way these owners are, whether we can trust them to back him enough in January, that's a big worry for me, especially with circulation that they may sell the club that's gone round. Whether that's true or not is another question. But the fact that it's a possibility is quite worrying, especially with the type of owners they are, where it's usually the aim is to make profit.
Agreed. Russ, what are your thoughts on Chris Wilder being at the helm for our current plight? Do you think he's a help or a hindrance?
I think positives outweigh the negatives, but I was disappointed that he had to come back.
Okay.
I really was. That meant we had a problem.
So would you have?
He had to come back. Just in itself was disappointing that we were in such a position. However, I was happy to have him back. Definitely.
Okay. In hindsight, because it's a wonderful thing that we can all look back on now, but would you have opted for someone else to come in after Ruben Sayers?
Personally, wanted Sean Dyche, and I do think he was attainable. Our status from last year, I think, afforded us to certainly be in a conversation with him. We would have had to put our hands in our pockets. But I do think we were there. But that's just my view on that one. But Chris Wilder coming back, I was happy that he was coming back, and I was confident that he would be the right guy to sort the mess out.
Mr. Meldrew, thoughts on Chrissy Wilder's return?
He should have never got sacked in first place, should he, really?
Yeah.
I mean, we come out of Wembley, and I remember saying to my brother, there's enough in bank there to go again. You look at what Leeds did. They lost to Southampton. They tinkered with it. They gave Farker another go. They signed 2 or 3 players, and they went again. And we left it so late and then sacked him. And I think you were on a stream, Jim, when it come out, and then they appointed Sellers within about 20 minutes.
Yeah, me and David knows
that. I mean, the thing, it's difficult because I can understand why they did it, because there were murmurings in January that they weren't happy and they were looking at somebody else. There were murmurings about it, come out in press and odd rumour here or there. But I think just they didn't back Sellers enough. I don't think. But they panicked a bit towards end. They brought Tanganga in.
Yeah,
I don't think, in terms of money to sign players, I don't think they backed him enough. Personally.
Wow. But Mark, look at the signings he did bring in. He bought his main signings were Louis Barry and Tyler Binden.
His priority signings.
I'm about money though. I'm about money.
He were in charge when we brought Tanganga in and McGuinness for 5 and Chong for however many, and we have spent money.
5 million.
Well, it was the timing. It was the timing of those signings as well.
Yeah, it was. We'd left ourselves scrambling.
Well, rushed, weren't it? It was rushed. I think that's where I'm going with it.
We've got an L money coming and we've got Vinny money coming, so they could afford to spend something, couldn't they?
They needed to just sit down with Chris and say, right, Chris, where do you think we go from it? Where do you? And clearly they were a split because they've obviously done that. But I just can't believe the position we were in. Everybody you speak to, like non-Sheffield United fans, I speak to some at work and they all say, what were you playing at in summer? Why?
Yeah.
And you sit there and you go, Not a clue. It's Sheffield United. It's Sheffield United way, isn't it? It's what we do. We never do things easy. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Madness.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah, it is crazy. That is crazy to say stuff like that. But so let's. What we're going to say then that threw me off completely. Who is to blame? Who is to blame for? I'll go with Lewis first for our current plight. Then, who do you hold most responsible? I know there's a blame to be apportioned everywhere. Owners, manager as well, and players. But Lewis, who do you hold most accountable for the current situation that we're in?
The owners. Full stop.
You don't look at the players to any degree?
Do you know, to be honest, Jim, especially since Wilder's come back in, but even at times before that, I've seen effort from the players, application.
Yeah.
I've never felt like they've turned it in. I've never felt like they folded me at Coventry the other night. They've gone 2-1 down, really disappointing after leading. They didn't turn it in. They still went after it, and they have done in most games. I don't feel that's, you know, it's been down to the players necessarily over the piece. I think certain players could absolutely have performed better, maybe have been in better condition. We don't know how much of that was down to the Ruben regime. You know, we don't see everything behind the scenes. But for me, the decision to remove Wilder in the summer, we keep going back to it, but the decision to do that, to go in the direction of data-driven recruitment. I mean, they've spent some decent money on what are essentially development players that, you know, could have been used for the first team.
Unbelievable.
It's really hamstrung us. The loans have been appalling. You know, 4 out of 5 of them will go back. And that'd be an argument for me about staying up, as well as the fact that we've got 4 out of those 5 loans. It's widely accepted, can and probably will be sent back. So we'll have room to reshape the squad in January. Now, I know that's January and we've got games to play in the interim, but we've got 3 games coming up against teams where, you know, Wednesday, Portsmouth, Leicester. Only Leicester have won a game in the last 5. The other 2 have lost their last 5 games or have gone without a win in those games. So it presents an opportunity to restart the season. We've definitely got that chance now. But, you know, for me, I've got to go back to the owners. I can't blame anyone else.
Okay. Here's I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball at you all here, really, before I get into the comments. And I'm going to flip this argument on its head a little bit. And my dear mum, bless her, she was a senior lecturer at Huddersfield University, and I am very proud of her. And one of the things she used to do with her students is she would have a divisive topic that she'd talk about, and she'd have those arguing yes on this side, she'd have those arguing no on this side.
Oh, I know what you're going to do.
And then she'd switch them round.
I know you're going to do that.
So I want Lewis and Russ to tell me why they're worried about, not necessarily that we'll go down, because obviously I think that's an extreme to sort of plant in your head, but why you're really worried about Sheffield United this season. And I want Jamie and particularly Mark Meldrew to tell me why everything's going to be all right at Sheffield United this season and things are going to pick up and we're going to be fine. So we'll start with, well, who wants to go first? Jamie Dumpling. Why is everything going to be fine at Sheffield United this season?
Why have you picked on me first?
Just because you are. It's youthful enthusiasm. I tell you why. It's because she sent me 3,000 videos for Ramble on the Road for a 3-minute clip.
43, but all right.
No, there was 48, but okay, because she sent me 5 before that.
Oh yeah, all right, fair enough. I think I think the thing that will keep us up in the end will be, it's make or break. It's January. That transfer window for me is going to be one of the biggest January transfer windows that we will possibly have in the last 10 years. And I know that I've not got the best perspective on things when it comes to going back, looking back on the years like that. But you can't really think of something this important when it comes to January. I know last season was quite crucial when it came to a few position players, but this season it is make or break near enough for getting in players where we can settle on a formation, get actual quality in to replace the absolute dog quality loans, and make sure that we can stay up. And I think if we do it right, we can genuinely push to get to bottom half, like the bottom half, but top of it, where we will be in a safe position where we're not thinking, oh yeah, let's keep going for the playoffs, but we'll think by March maybe we'll be all right. We're comfy now.
Start planning for next season in March.
Yeah, maybe not like that early.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Like start like
we'll be safe.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Russ, why are we in big trouble this season?
It's payback this because I've done this to people in classroom situations. So if there's anybody out there watching,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. Now my positivity is I'm an optimist. I try to be an optimist in life, and I've had to apply that to my football club just to be able to cope over the years. So I always look for the positives, and I'm always positive before we start the season. I was even positive when we got Nigel Adkins.
Well, let's change that.
Yeah, okay. However, my optimism regarding this season is based on several assumptions that momentum continues and that we have a good January, the owners back us, and etc., etc. If something was to derail that, i.e., the owners apparently have put the club on the market looking for divesting all or most of their investment.
It's a concern.
So, does that mean then that the pot has suddenly not even been drawn? There's no money in January because we're not spending any more money because we're selling the club. But alternatively, a rare hope is these guys are poker players, and there's a good chance in January they'll lump on. So they may think,
like they did on Sayers.
Well, okay. Anyway, that certainly could derail us if we don't have a good January. That's problematic. And the other thing is that they don't cite Wilder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just,
those are your caveats to having a good season.
Yes. So they're the things that I think that's about as negative
about.
as I can get, to be honest, Jim.
Lewis, founder of the Positive Blades, or founding father of the Positive Blades. Why is this season going to be a disaster for Sheffield United?
I always, whether I'm positive or negative, I always focus on the team. That tends to get all my attention rather than what's going off around it. Top of the pitch is my biggest worry. We haven't scored enough goals. We're getting into the positions. We're creating chances now. I'm not so worried about us defensively. I think Cooper at his best game Saturday. I thought it's no coincidence that we played Tanganga in his natural position and we kept a clean sheet as well. I think those two things, no coincidence that we held QPR off. I think we can continue to do that. I think the defensive record will improve. Now the side's starting to settle down. My concern is the top of the pitch. I think losing Kiefer Moore in the summer was a bigger blow than people anticipated because we didn't have a player of that type. We didn't bring McBurney back in to replace him or someone of that ilk. So it meant we couldn't switch things up. We can't play a little bit more direct. We can't put the ball in the box to a target. We can't, it limits the way that we can approach things. So that would be my biggest concern and is one of the areas that they've got to prioritise in the window. They've got to find someone in that mould or similar, or someone that's more suited to doing that kind of a job.
So do you dip into the market for a striker then, Lewis? And maybe would that mean One goes out on loan or Tom Cannon leaves the club? Is that what you're thinking?
100%. I'm not convinced they'll do it on a permanent basis. But I also think that what presents the best opportunity to them is to go into the loan market and find someone from the Premier League or maybe even the Championship, someone that's not getting in the team, possibly at a higher level that can come in and do that job. However they do it, I'm not fussed as long as they find someone that can help us vary the way we play and contribute some more goals as well. So that would be my concern. If they don't address that, then I may become more worried if results don't start to turn by then.
Okay, mate. Right, Matt Meldrew. Why is Sheffield United going to make a late push for the playoffs?
First of all, I think you're barking mad.
That's not very positive. Oh, I'm just anybody that wants to get ready to clip it, do so now, because Mark Meldrew is about to tell us why Sheffield United will definitely survive this season, and he's got no concerns over the future.
I think managers one reason. I think he's a big reason. I think if we had anybody else currently in dugout, I really don't think. I just think he's clearly not giving up. He clearly still thinks there's enough in this team, and he ain't going to come out and say they're in, because it's just not what you do. But they've got they seem to have a plan in terms of January. That's another thing and they've been quite open with that. They've got to keep the cards close to the chest with some of it, obviously, in terms of targets, ins and outs. But they seem to have a plan. And it sounds like, from what we've heard, that they are going to spend some money, and I think that's the only way we can turn it round. But we have a chance. That is what I would say with that.
I believe you, Mark. I believe you.
Yeah, I do. I do. Well said, he don't, but well said, Mark.
I don't believe myself, but I'll give it a go.
Love that, mate. Love that. Right, starting us off in comments tonight. We're over 40 minutes and I haven't read one comment, but Nick says, sorry, lads, can't catch this one live tonight. I've been saying for weeks that no one thought Luton would actually go down, or Sunderland back-to-back a few years ago now. I think it's fair to be a bit worried, but also optimistic with a window to change things. I do hope Wilder gets it right, though. Can't afford another bad window. I'm saying finish 15th, up the Blades, up the Ramble, up the Man Mountain. Okay, very good. Thank you, Nick. Alex says, really hard one. Under any other manager, I'd be even more worried, but with the improvements we've seen so far, though results haven't been great at times, seem enough to think we'll be okay. Up the Ramble. If Sayers had been given any longer, we'd be finished. The players have to take some responsibility, and Wilder also, but this is on the owners. With Wilder recruiting in the summer, we are top 6 right now. Interesting. We'll never know, will we? It's one of those. Justin says, disappointed with this season. We've made it more difficult than it needed to be from the owners' transfer strategy. Sayers back to Wilder again, but saying all that, no chance we go down. Up the Ramble. No chance. That's confidence. Beast Boy says, not a chance we get relegated. We have the players to get top half. As soon as Ogbenny is off the wing, then we are fine. Talk to me about Ogbenny, lads. I know this is slightly off subject, but I'll just go for a one-word answer from you, in fact. I know Mark's already, so I'll go to his first. Mark, sending him back?
Yeah, next train.
Do you think he will?
No, I don't. That's a worry.
Russ?
Roy Orbison, gone. Yeah.
Do you think he will, though? Or do you think he'll keep him?
No, I think he'll keep him.
This is exactly where I am, lads. I would send him back, and I think he'll keep him. Lewis?
I'd be inclined to send him back, but I think he'll keep him. I will say, though, I do agree with Man Mountain in his comment yesterday on 3MB that I think the issue with Cheo is partly in his head.
Brett's going to get jealous of you and Man Mountain, I'm telling you now. He'll be worried. He'll be necking some Jaegers watching this stream, well, Brett, now, because of what you're saying.
Well, I'm just getting back at him because he spends all his time with Rich now.
He does. Yeah, he does. That's true. Friends. Jaeger friends. Jamie, is it a full house?
Taxi for Chio.
Yeah, taxi for Chio. And do you think Wilder keeps him?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, that, isn't it?
Why are we keeping him? Why?
I would say, Mark, I think Mountain was on to something yesterday with, I think the problem is partly in his head. I have seen that speed 3 or 4 times from him, so it's there.
Three or four times in 10 games?
Yeah, 10 games.
I know, Jimmy, but that's the thing. I think it's a confidence issue, and I think it's not getting into the right areas issue.
It's
You know,
not a
he's done
mechanical
it on a
issue,
few
is it?
occasions. It's there, you can see it. But when he did it on Saturday, he had a chance to go past somebody. He was already past him, and he checked back.
Went back.
It's in his head. He does not trust his body because he was out for so long with a serious injury. I think Man Mountain hit the nail on the head with that. I really do.
He needs to... Go on, Mark.
I was going to say, I honestly think he only plays because what's behind him is...
Agreed.
That is the only reason he plays.
We ain't got a right winger.
I'll say one thing as well. He run out wing at Oxford and he crossed it for aware. You thought, oh, he might get a bit of confidence from this.
Yeah.
Got worse.
He just don't take men on. He did it once on Saturday, We nearly scored from it. He crossed it in. McCallum had that header, and you think, right, go again, and he just.
It was
It's
like
you're
Wilder
waiting
had
for
said to him, "Take your man on and cross the ball," because it was the first thing he did.
You're
It
waiting
was like
for
it had been
something to
drilled into
happen,
him.
and he just.
And if you
I don't know what it is. I've never seen a winger go back as much as him.
Oh,
What-
Andrea
if
Brooks can
you
tell
won't
you
follow
otherwise.
instructions, then what? You're not going to get anywhere near a team if you're not following instructions.
We said it
And
at
that,
the beginning.
that might
didn't
be
we?
why he sat out, Russ.
That's
That might-
it's baffling that because you would think it looks like he isn't taking instructions.
I will say, even if Man Mountain's theory is right, we haven't got time to wait
No, we
for him
haven't.
to deliver it. You know, as positive as I can be, we need someone out there that's going to deliver. You know, end of the day. So.
Because I think when Aimer comes back, I don't think Ogbenny's anywhere near. I think he'll go back to playing Brooks on right wing, and he'll play Aimer on left.
Yeah, but Brooks is a makeshift right winger at best.
No, he is, but I think he's better than Ogbenny, and I'm not a big Brooks fan.
I'd agree with you.
He may
I'd
play
agree.
Gus on the right and Brooks on the left. That's the general
Because
possibility.
Gus ain't a winger. They've got him on left because he can cut in and cause all sorts of problems with sweeping ball across the box. But it's, I think we're massively disjointed.
You talk
as a
about.
squad.
We spoke earlier. Sorry to jump in there.
It's all right.
We've all spoke about the eye test, and we've all watched football long enough. He just don't do it for me. I don't know what it is. He just don't do it. He's not positive enough.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
pot kettle.
Well, it's crazy though, isn't it? It's just, and this is what I mean. It's decisions like this that have just set us back and back and back, and we're clinging on to, oh, it'll turn. We're 15 games in. We've lost 11 out of 15, and I've seen it online. Oh, how many results out of this next 9 games? Oh, we'll get 20 points. We've got 10 out of 15.
Yeah, but we're good enough to get those points as well. Again, going back to
We haven't
balancing it out.
We are, but it's all if buts and maybes, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
You look at probably in games that Wilder's had, you probably say South in terms of squad. I would say that the only top quality squad we've played is probably Southampton.
Yeah, and we didn't look out of place, I'd have to say, either.
Correct.
We didn't, and then
Southampton are really bad, or they were really bad as well.
Yeah, but we are as well. We are underperforming as a squad. So were Southampton. But Mark's argument is that their quality, you go through their side, and probably more Southampton players get in it than Sheffield United players in terms of a first team. So, but I thought we matched Southampton, and if we'd have come away with a draw, I don't think anybody complains either side.
I think we've probably had in terms of. Oh, I'm going across all season here, so obviously we know how bad it were in the sellers. But I think combined, we've played well twice, and that's across 3 games. I think we did all right against Blackburn second half.
Yeah,
I think we did all right against Southampton across the full game, and I think we did all right second half Saturday. And that's
what about
Preston
Cov?
first half? We played very well, I thought.
So give us 3.5, Mel Drew. Come on.
3.5 out of 15. You can have that.
Ah, 10. Oh no, it's 15 in it. Yeah, it's 10 points we've got. Russ, go on, mate. You've been very patient.
Can I just suggest here that let's just examine this as the division that we're in, and look at there's a phenomena this year. It's different. Now everybody talks about how hard this division is, and has been for many years, how tough it is. The reason why I believe it's always tough is because there's this core of teams that occupy that sort of middle band that are very stubborn, very difficult, well managed, well organised, and if you slip up, they'll take your legs out from under you. Oddly, this year, those guys, in part, are occupying the top bit of the table.
Yeah.
So they've come
Millwall,
into this
Stoke.
season, as they always do, and saying, bring your big guns down, bring your money up from League One. We're not scared as usual. And this time round, we're all getting a bloody nose, all of us.
Right, but that's even more frustrating, though.
It's very different, isn't it? It's not. It's peculiar. It's very peculiar.
Look at Southampton. They've just sacked their manager. They've won last 2. I think Blackburn. They lost to us. I think they won 2 on spin after that.
Yeah.
They've pulled a little bit away. We had Coventry. We had Preston. We're leading in both games. We're chucking goals away like no tomorrow. And you can look at Saturday as a side thing, but that's the other thing that worries. But I personally think. I think it were easy to look at Saturday and think that it were an improvement because I thought they were poor. I didn't think they were a good side. Personally, I think any good team that plays against us, I think will take us to cleaners currently.
Can I just add that on Saturday, we're looking at it from where we are, we're behind the goal on the Cop, about a quarter of the way up. Particularly that second half, you get a very good appreciation of just how tight a team are playing. And they were very compact. They wanted to go down the sides, but the centre seemed to be, rather than it being a tapering, was like a box there.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at players like Sidney Peck, who gets criticised for traversing with the ball, he is looking up. I'm seeing him. I'm looking at him. He's looking up, and I can see the sight lines he's trying to find, and those lanes just weren't there. And it doesn't help when you've got Tyrese Campbell, who marks the centre half, instead of just shifting him around all the time and dropping in. He had no, and we didn't have that sort of level of penetration. I thought QPR were very well set up. Certainly not the best team we've played, but very well set up. And probably they'll be looking at that as though they deserved a point.
Yeah. I thought they were a decent side. Go on, what were you saying, sorry?
No, I was going to say, I spoke to a few QPR fans in the hotel after. They all said, you should have absolutely battered us. So I think they're quite happy with the point, to say the least.
I think we were better side.
The ones I spoke to, at least.
Certainly second half, we were in control, weren't we? So
yeah.
Peake says, confident Wilder and the team will turn this around. Playoffs are out the window now. Just got to concentrate on finishing as high up the table as possible and getting away from the bottom as soon as possible. Stick says, can't call a season normally until after January. Been terrible so far. I agree with Jim on 90 after 90. We're at best an average championship side, and I do think we're back to being mediocre Blades for the next few seasons. That's what my dad was saying as well. Blades need to start playing ugly, awkward football moving forward, forcing opposition mistakes, making the opposition hate to players. The hope of free-flowing quality football with added nothing. Because I don't think there's another comment from Stick there. But yeah, I agree with that on the whole. Sonny Glasby of Glasby's Pallets. Shout out to Sonny, who's a sponsor of Ramble FC and Behind the Ramble, says, good evening, gents. What impact do you think Hamer and Arblaster have on this team? They're both great players, but I can't see them dragging us up like fans say. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Sonny just teetering with his darker side a little bit more recently. A little bit of negative Glasby poking out. I know he wants to be a positive Blade. He's generally a positive person, but I think Mark Meldrew has been poisoning that mind of his.
The negative 3.
Yeah, you're trying to lure him in, aren't you? So you and George. So right. So Hamer and Arblaster, can they be the difference between us staying up, going down? It's an easy one to ask, but I'll ask Lewis and Russ first. Lewis, go on after you first, pal.
Yeah, of course they can. Of course they can. You know, Gus was Championship Player of the Year last year. He knocked every performance metric out of the park. You know, in every aspect of attacking play, he was better than almost every player in the division. So there's no way he doesn't level us up. Now, yes, his form early on in the season wasn't great. No one's was great. You know, when Ruben was here, it was a mess. Gus didn't have long in the team before he got injured when Wilder came back. So Gus might need a little bit of time. He won't need as much time as Arblaster. But having said that, if we get them both back to what we know they're capable of, they are such influential players and they're what I call multipliers. Everyone around them will get better as a result of playing next to them. So if we get them back into that condition and their mind's right, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that they make us far better as a team and they make us more of an attacking threat as well.
Russ, agreed?
Yeah, I agree. I find Gus as a bit of a quandary. I think that I would like to see him and Omer compete for the same shirt. I would feel very sorry for Andre Brooks if he came out of the side for Gus. Gus, on his days, is a match winner. We've just got to keep him away from the number 6 shirt.
Yes, we do.
He
Yeah.
likes to seem to suddenly pop on every so often because A, it's not necessary, and B, it looks desperate when he's coming back there.
I think he needs the
top. He's a 10.
He needs the Tarapt treatment when he don't come back over the halfway line.
That's
You
right,
just
yeah.
stay in the opposition half.
Particularly if
That's
Wilder's
where we're
sort of still keen on playing 2 up top, then that's exciting. That's quite exciting. That, you know,
Possibly. Jamie Dumpling, are we potentially expecting a little bit too much from Arblaster, do we think?
You what? Sorry.
Are we potentially expecting a little bit too much from Arblaster?
I think we're expecting him to be up and raring to go the moment he steps back on the pitch. We cannot rush him. The injury he has had is, I know he's a young player, but it's killed careers before, where we really need to make sure that he's properly ready to go before we try and push him back inside. And luckily, we do have decent squad depth at that centre mid / defensive midfielder role, where we don't need to go blast it straight back in. We need you. We've got the cover. But I think with Hamer, the only worry is that he does have 18 months left on contract. So potentially it's the case of, is he even here by the end of the January transfer window? For me, I'd tell him, just because we do need that. And I said it on Yorkshire's Finest, we need that continuous cash flow so that with us not going up and parachute payments ending, we're going to need some extra funds, especially if we do want to sort of see out January and beyond. So it's just a case of then trying to make it sort of potentially more of a balanced side maybe, and then hopefully we can build the team around Blaster when he's back properly, fully fit, and he can then make it so the players like Sidipek can not be dropped, rested.
Rotated. Yeah. I see what you mean. Marco, are you a little bit more positive with Hamer and Arblaster coming on the horizon?
I think it's a big risk for either, to be fair. I mean, I saw some other day, I think Hamer's, when he comes back, is 1 yellow off a suspension to start with.
Shock.
Yeah, which is no shock compared to last season. I just think I think with both of them, I just think it's going to take time. I just think, like you've said, Lewis, I think Hamer probably not as much as Blaster because of the nature of the injury, but it's a big risk, and I do think we'll go and try and sign a player in that position in January. It's really tough. I think I won't put as much pressure on him, to be honest. I think they'll clearly be drip fed back in. When that is, I don't know. I mean, we heard when Tom Davis were coming back, oh, he's not far away, and it dragged on a little bit.
Yeah.
And they didn't rush him, and I think that's it's easy to say, oh, get him in, let's play him, but you don't want to do that and then set him back again. I think we've got to be very, very careful and really sort of take us time with that.
I don't think we need to rush him either. I think Peck and Gyro, I think, are getting better each week as a partnership. I thought they were better I thought Peck was certainly better against Coventry, and I thought both had a decent game on Saturday. So that partnership could develop as well. So I'm not too panicked about getting him back in straight away. I think Gus definitely would make a huge difference to us when he comes back in.
Okay.
Can I just say, by the way, we sort of did that with Vinny. We rushed him back, and we found that the more we rushed him back, the more we then found out it was straight back on the injury side of things. I remember one game, I think around Christmas time, we put him straight back into the starting 11, and he came off at half time because he got injured again. You can't do it
back too quickly, can't you? Yeah,
that were Burnley. I think Burnley at home in Premier League. Right.
I'm going to get through as many of these comments as I can, but because there's so many flying in, I can't guarantee that I'll get to them all. So I do apologise, but I'll get through what I can without going on too long. John says normally 50 points for safety. We need 40 points more, 93 available, 12 wins, 4 draws. It's doable, but start now. Don't leave it to the end. In my opinion, we stay up, but we definitely have to win the derby. Up the Ramble, up the Blades, and so we'll worry about that next week. Honestly, John, I'm not even thinking about them lot till next week. Paul says, I've been watching United for over 50 years and I can't ever remember United getting out of relegation battle. Let's hope this is the first time. Wilder has to send all the loan players back. There's an anonymous comment. I'm not going to read your comments out while your username stays like this, but he says, been saying for months now, but no one's taking it on board that we're going down. The squad is rubbish. It's full of rejects. Damien says, if you were given the reins in January window, who would you get rid of and who would you bring in? That, my friend, is a video all in itself. And on Friday, I'll be doing a live plan for Jan. So
get rid of Benny.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Get rid of Ogbenny. Dave Morwood says, come on the positives. No way we're going down. In fact, I'll go as far as to say, if we do, Lewis will do a hot topic in his boxers and the rest of his... right, okay. Oh, and the rest of his clothes. Okay, up all the rambles, up the words. Up the positive ones. Ray says, I'm on the fence, but 10 points and only 4 goals at home tells its own story. But we have Chris, and there's no way we go down up the ramble, up all the rambles, like and subscribe. Sariki and McCallum were both in the championship team of the week. Absolutely. Johnny says it's too early to say. We're definitely going down, but right now we're in a battle to get out of that zone. Plenty of time to get clear, but they have to get their act together pretty soon. H from Step says, evening Jimmy, we have no outlet. Campbell hardly moves and don't have any pressure behind him.
Correct.
Ben says, glad CW finally came out and said we're too slow decision making and not free flowing. Gus and Blaster no doubt improved this, but those playing now need to up the tempo for me, up the blades, up the ramble, like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. I agree. I think we're too slow, too predictable in the build up. The sheer lack of imagination in bringing Wilder in again deserves a relegation, says Jimmy Paddy, the Sunderland fan. Thank you, Jimmy. Much appreciated. Neil says, fingers crossed you stay up, hating being in the Premier League and hoping towards being a competitive and enjoying the friendly rivalry. Up the ramble, like and subscribe, marching on together. We will stay up, pal, and we'll see you next season. Regal says, as Blades, we are very reactionary. It seems like we all flip-flop depending on outcomes. Overall, I believe we'll be mid-table at best. Players are quality, just not fit enough, and Wilder needs to sort it. Rice says, form and position speaks for itself, no getting away from it. Luton were in denial about it, and they dropped. 16 games left from the 1st of Feb, and at that point, I personally think it'll be too late. So that's obviously the end of the window, which is why I was referring to that. Cooler King says, evening, Jim. I don't think the Blades go down because there's enough time and resources to turn things around. There's only really 2 relegation spots. But right now, you're not a good side. Yeah, I agree with that, Cooler King. Who's the certainty to go down? Anybody know?
Trotters.
Yay, it's Sheffield Wednesday. But we'll worry about them next week. I don't want to say too much pre-derby. So John says, as a neutral, I think the biggest issue for the whole bottom 3 right now is the gap in points from yourselves to 18th. If that gap grows, it's going to be a real slog, possibly making it 3 from 5. And they're the sort of concerns Mark Meldrew has, and Jamie Dumpling nodding his head to that as well. Gaza says, not a chance of going down. Jamie Dumpling's #1 fan. He's obviously been logging on while he's been on stream. I don't think we'll go down, but it's a concern. We need a run of wins even now. Aren't we like 9 points off QPR? January will be crucial. Well said, Jamie.
Thank you.
Stop worrying, you'll be fine, says Aldi. Rossi says, could be worse. I remember stood on the cop watching Dross when we dropped into the old 4th division. Chris will get this lot sorted, I'm sure. Up the Blades. Love all the rambles. Thank you, my mate. Do you remember that, Ross?
Yes, I was at Darlington. Yeah.
So am I.
Yes. Well, a great day out there.
So was Andy the Blade, my dad. He was there as well.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a respect to the other clubs in the league. Say that right now. Yes, relegation is more certain right now than 21 other clubs. Same reason why the playoff talk is crazy, lads. Ian
Do you
says,
remember that, by the way, Jim? Going down to old Division 4. Do you remember it?
No, mate. I wasn't born. I was born in
Not that old,
1993.
Jamie.
I was born in 1993, same as Mark. I won't. That's a lie. 84. But I don't remember it. Watching Jamie nodding in agreement with Lewis and Russ, I can see this ending 3-1 with poor old Meldrew being bullied. It'll be Jamie Dumpling being bullied if he carries on having digs at old man Jim. Extreme Dave says, I said at the start of the season, if we kept playing the way we were, we'd get relegated. I still stand by that. We haven't improved much, really, and I don't see that changing. Prove me wrong, Blades, please. We still make the playoffs, says John. Sat was the right formation with the best team out. We have Gus and Ollie to come back. Keep the faith, up the Blades, up the ramble. Like and subscribe. Marco, your head jolted back when I read out that it was the right formation. Was there a connection there, or was it just a subconscious twitch?
When he said we'll get in playoffs, is that what he said?
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, starts off. We still make
Jesus
playoffs.
Christ.
Yes.
Does anybody around here think 4-4-2 is the formation to go with?
Oh.
I don't think there is a right formation, Jim. I
Well,
think
that's a
it
problem,
depends
isn't it?
on what's that.
That's a problem, then, isn't it?
A winning one would be nice.
I think there's a variation of a couple of things. I think when Gus comes back, he doesn't play two up top.
I agree. I think it goes back to the 4-2-3 one.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, and I think that will be our natural formation, and it can work. But you've got to get someone closer to that man up top, and the man up top's got to be fit.
It's going to be Benny on the right, Campbell up front, Gus on the left.
Benny on the right.
It is. That's what it's going to be, isn't it? That's what it's
No,
going to be.
that's Sharika.
You can't play aware on
Gus,
left.
you're a positive blade.
3-5-2.
Yeah. 3-4-1-2 for me. Yeah, it's 3-5-2. However you want to dress it up. Yeah, I'm
Triangle.
with you.
Yeah.
He'll go 4-2-3-1, won't he? When
Yeah, he
Gus
will.
comes back.
Yes.
100%.
That's how I'm going to have to build the plan. for
McGuinness
John,
will
I think.
make way. Tanganga and me at centre half. I don't know about me. I don't know if he's got an injury because he went off, didn't he?
Wilder said him post-match.
When we saw him go to pull up, and he looked like a hamstring, but it's the press have said it was what was it, an ankle or something?
Yeah, rolled his ankle. I think Wilder said
his hamstring. So
Benny at centre half.
Wilder said in post-match press he just rolled his ankle. But that's Wilder. So.
Phil says the style of play was awful last season and hasn't changed. We're a striker's graveyard. McBurney and Moore scoring for other teams shows this. Wilder's obsession with Peck is a big problem. Brand says it doesn't matter who saw what and when because of how old they are. It matters about how the here and now. And if we take our rose-tinted glasses off, we're in a relegation battle. Anything else is denial. Mark, you've got a soldier there by the looks of it. Paul says, forget Ollie until the new year at best. Be playing 90 minutes if he doesn't break down. Yeah, I agree with that. We can't really count Blaster until in and around the transfer window for me. Liam says goal difference doesn't lie. We have corrected that under Wilder and don't see. We haven't corrected that under Wilder, sorry, and don't see signs that we will. We're banging trouble. A much better goal difference would prove we're in a false league position. Positive, Brett. I want a divorce, I think it's going to say. Go on, lads. Obviously, my boy Lewis has got this. Positivity wins the day. Believe equals achieve. Up the 5 PB. I think that was before you started flirting with Man Mountain, but we'll see if there's any further reaction to that. Super Furnace says you need at least 7 or 8 of your players to be playing well week in, week out to be avoiding relegation. But we've only seen one in Cal O'Hare, which is worrying me the most. Doug says too much sideways and passing backwards. Players not playing in the correct positions. Wilder's too stubborn to change. Lack of attacking football. Need I go on? Sorry. Positive is I don't think we'll get relegated. Up all the Rambles. Tilted says no chance Dyche was going to take a championship job in my opinion. Agreed Dyche was a pipe dream, says Luke Sublade. I think it was definitely an outside bet, but Russ is right in the fact that if you show anybody enough green, then they will come, and that would be down to the ambition of the owners. He's obviously held out and got a Premier League job, so maybe that it was something that would be unattainable, but it was certainly a name worth throwing into the mix. Phil says, hi, Jimmy. I'm concerned about our league position at the moment. We need players in January. Yeah, I agree. I agree, mate. Tim says, poor signings and owners who appointed a yes man who didn't see us as anything other than a meal ticket have left us in a pickle. We're in more than a pickle, mate, aren't we? Sheila's Wheel says, mentioned this before, Jim, bringing 3 or 4 loans to play. Who do they replace in the current side? To play, who? Bringing in 3 or 4 loans to play. Who do they replace in the current side? Well, none of the loans are getting in other than Ogbeni at the minute, who himself came off the bench.
And Samari.
Samari's in and around the first team, but not a regular starter. I think when all the centre midfielders are fit, he's down the pecking order. You can make an argument for cancelling them all. And then we need a right winger. We need competition at right back. I think we need... you could argue a better centre midfielder. Striker, I think, is somebody that we need to look at. We need to. So there's all sorts of positions that you could argue that we need some reinforcements.
Could you argue that our Blaster's a new signing in January?
It'll certainly feel that way. Certainly feel that way, I think, yeah. Yeah, it will, hopefully. Like you say, you've got to keep your fingers crossed with him, haven't you, I think, for the time being. Paul says, please don't think I'm saying CW should go, because I'm not, but it makes the club look kind of small-minded that only one man has to be manager. There has to be a time that CW era comes to a close. We've spoken about that before, that I think the owners need to have a plan for a post-Chris Wilder era. You can't just rely on the one man himself, but he needs to be a part of that, in my opinion. Martin says, evening Jim, evening lads. Any idea of the budget Chris will get in January? No, mate. We're hearing rumours that he'll be backed, but then that was prior to the rumours that the owners may want to sell the club, which you would think, if that is the mindset they are currently in, they won't be throwing a lot of money around in January. There's the other counter-argument. The ultimate answer is we don't know, because the other argument is, if they don't spend, there's a risk we do get in trouble and potentially don't get out of this dilemma. So that would be disastrous for them. Never mind not going up, but going down to League One would be disastrous for their investment. So it's a balancing act for them, I think. Home Funk says, evening chaps. Coops, Sariki, Tanganga, McGuinness, McCallum, Hamer, Davis, Peck, Chong, Ings, Campbell. That team gets top half and a late playoff push for me. Good signs from the QPR game and no chance we go down. That team gets...
Good man.
Tanganga, McGuinness, McCallum. So you play McGuinness over me in a back four. Hamer, Davis and Peck. Then Chong behind Ings and Campbell.
It's not a terrible team, but I think you'd be insane to take Cal O'Hare.
Where's O'Hare then?
It'd be absolutely crazy.
Chong might be a decent option, to be fair, for the right wing if we're trying to get one.
Cillian says, lads, Ogbeni has had a rough year with half the injuries. Give him time and he will be back to his best going down. Okay. Ogbeni battered at Rotherham about 3 years ago. Now he's a totally different player, says James. David Webster. Are we ready for this?
Yeah,
Are we ready? The count has returned. All the Wilder fan club still wearing the blinkers. It's risible. Getting worse with Wilder. Okay.
Shut up.
My goodness me. Maury says, I've seen a lot this season that our players aren't making forward runs. I'll tell you what, Brian, I'm going to save that one. I'm going to save that you're asking there. I'd sell Gus, says the Saint, for 2 replacement players. Not sure we get too worthy, though. 2 £5 million players, good at the level, though, if proven. Mark's Mighty White says, is Gus coming to Leeds, though? I'm a Leeds fan and might be a different manager by then. Do you want Farker? He'd do well for you. Some people were asking about Farker in comments in the chat, I think. Statman Jack says, you say that you think he doesn't do 2 up top with Hamer back, but I think we were playing 2 up top back end of last season and Wembley with Gus on, rotating with O'Hare, if I remember. Lewis?
We were, but we had Vinny Souza in midfield, who is an absolute animal.
He's an animal. An absolute animal.
We don't have a player like that to cover ground.
No, we do not. We don't have an athlete in the middle. Fitness is my main concern at the moment, says Andrew. I would have expected bigger improvement in this by now, with Wilder returning and going into a second international break. Statman Jack says, remember this time last year, Cov were on 16 points, finished 5th on 69. That's 6 points in front of where we are, Jack. I know you're trying to be positive, mate. I'm not trying to pull that down, but we have to... They are anomalies. I'm going to finish on this question, and this is away from the subject matter. Bry says, will we beat the Wendy's? And this sort of leans into how you feel it's going for the season, I suppose. I think I know what Lewis is going to say. I think I know what Meldrew's going to say. So I'm going to go Russ first. Will we beat the Wendy's? 2-0. 2-0 Blades. Yeah. Jamie Dumpling.
Come back to me.
No, please. Jamie Dumpling.
No.
I've got issues with this because I work with piglets. I work around the corner.
Answer the question.
So it does my head in this.
Yeah, you are the new Dave the Nose. Answer the question.
Yes.
Something tells me this is going to be 0-0. I've got a feeling it's going to be another one because we never see that many chances. And with us not being clinical...
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Would not surprise me at all. Let me see. Lewis.
A road track record of them.
Injury time winner, 2-1 Blades.
Who scores the injury time winner? Sidney Peck.
Tyrese Campbell.
He won't be on
Benny.
pitch. Surely. Oh,
Be honest, they've gone off after 40.
He's going to come on as a sub.
With 2-1.
So that's 2 wins and a draw. Mark Meldrew.
God.
What's your honest thoughts on the Wendy's game? How do you think
Honest thoughts, I am worried. I think
They're rubbish.
It screams everything that's gone against them, and something just comes up from against us. That's my gut feeling currently. I would snatch your hand off for a point right now. Yeah, get a point and get out of there. For me,
It's in film script, isn't it? They're winning. It's in film
there's
script.
just been that much against them. That's the. And I know you keep saying, Jim, there's another stream completely about this, but there's been that much against them. The biggest crowd they have, fact, because none of them's been going.
They'll get what they want in the end.
Right, I can't believe I ended on that question. To be fair, and I ended on Mark Meldrew as well.
But no,
knowing
I
what
think
the swing
draw
would
at
have been.
best. Draw at best.
Draw at best. Remind me what you said, Lewis.
2-1 Blades.
Last minute winner. That'll do for me. Can you imagine the housery, the poo housery? Right. Thank you. In fact, let's end that poll right now because I got a poll running. It's been going an hour. We've had 210 votes, I think, and I'm pretty sure it was. It's not going to tell me now, is it? Oh yes. Will United get relegated? 70% say no. 30% say yes of 211 votes. It's a bigger swing. It's a bigger swing towards yes we will than I thought it might be, to be honest.
Lewis,
I think we're very Lewis and Russ take it this time. It was a very tough one to argue so early in the season, but it's indicative of how poorly we've started and how much of a disappointment it's been of a season so far for Sheffield United. Like I've said previously, I believe we'll have enough to pull away from danger, but I do think the season peters out from here. I think then we have to sort of look at how Chris Wilder operates in the summer. A lot of people think he operates better as an underdog in the division, you know, and challenging these powerful sides that he likes to talk about when we're going up against teams like Ipswich Town and you know, things, powerhouses like that. Unfortunately, but it's one of those things. I think we'll be all right. Two of you think we'll be all right. Two of you think we might not be, and everybody else is up there saying the comments. So thank you to everybody that's joined us. Thank you, lads, for being part of the first ever Touchy Subject panel. Anything else you want to say before I let you go?
I've got one.
Oh,
go on then.
Keep the
Why
faith.
wearing a blue shirt? That's the real question.
It's a Sampdoria shirt because if you want to use the link to get brilliant replica shirts, then it's in the description for OK Jersey. But thank you for allowing me to plug it, Jamie, just before the end. So yeah, I've got a collection of shirts, fantastic replicas from OK Jersey. So that's why I'm wearing a Sampdoria shirt, not necessarily a blue shirt, although it is blue. It's a Sampdoria shirt, but there you go. There you go. Marco, anything you want to say to finish?
No, nothing from me, mate.
All the blades.
Yeah.
Russ, anything to add, mate?
we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Chill out.
I'm chilled. I'm going to finish on the leader of the 5PB. Oh, the founding member, sorry. I don't want to disrupt anybody's status. Lewis?
Keep the faith. It's 3 points at Hillsborough, up the Blades.
Oh my.
Come on, you red and white wizards! All the blades!